impressive task before me to try and find ways in you can bring this speech up to the next level. And already, as you know, it's done quite well. But you requested me to be as critical as I can, so I will endeavor to do so. I too was intrigued by the beginning. The rhetorical questions initially did not work as effectively for me. It could be because of the pauses. I suspect, on a broader, more thematic scale, it simply felt that I was somewhat lectured to. I did not get a real sense that this was a rhetorical question motivating me to ask these same things. Do I want some magic moments? Do I want another or another? I really got a sense that these questions were asked because they helped set your speech, that they were a good guideline for the intro. It did not spark off neurons in my head. It did not make me wonder and ask the same questions that you were asking. And I'm not sure if the pauses played into that, but I suspect that for me, that's why the introduction did not work for me. And it ties in a couple points that we've touched on already, but some of the writing was spectacular. The crayon thing, that was beautiful. It brought in an idea and expressed in a very original and creative way. But some of the expressions seemed a little bit trite. They were used in order to elicit a very specific response, and I could see the strings attached to that. A magic moment is something that I could swear would come straight out of Sesame Street, right? And as an individual out there, I think I kind of have to agree with Patrick that at sometimes, I knew what kind of effect you were trying to create, and I could see the structure trying to endeavor to do so, and things became so transparent. It was like a magician with all the trapdoors unveiled, and you could see everything that was working mechanistically. But moving on to the speech, I think you had a very valuable point to make, even especially at the very end. Everything pieced together so wonderfully after you spoke about the story with Bob and how the effects that we can have on people can be amplified so much through time and through experience. And the tension in that speech, I suspect, was partly due to a constant question I had until the Bob story, which was, why is he telling me this? Yes, there is a value in magic moments. I was taught that back in Sesame Street. I was taught the importance of being nice to people, and so on and so forth. But what a novel, original idea were you going to pass on to me that would really make me stand up and give you standing ovation? And it was until Bob's story that I really, really got a sense of this, that all your experience have wrapped up in this perfect moment where your Sunday school teacher has showed you on this path where you've been making all these changes, and now you seem to be continuing that wonderful circle with your work with Ramel. So the tension was there initially. I'm ambivalent at the moment as to whether it worked to your advantage, but there was tension. That was certainly why I was paying attention. It kind of made me all tight inside while I was watching it, but I certainly was paying attention if that was your choice. And at least content-wise, just structurally, one of the questions, and I think this builds on previously, was just Ramel. Not only why were you telling me about Ramel, but also I was curious how I couldn't quite catch how you kept in touch with Ramel. I understand that he was given to a security guard, I think, at your location, but I wasn't sure whether this was at the place where you worked or whether you just always visited the same location every day and the security guard kept Ramel, or did you adopt him, or I did not get that.
Did anyone else wonder that? Because
yeah.
I left out a lot of details.
Well, you said the security guard at the mall, and then you said you were in the Philippines, right?
Yeah.
Right, so I assumed you were working at an orphanage or something in the
In a
Philippines.
children's home.
Okay.
The speech is on revision 19. So I used to mention the children's home. Now I don't anymore. So it's, if that's going to throw someone off, I might have to put that back in.
It was a question that was on the back of my mind. Certainly did not destroy your speech by any stretch of the imagination, right? But it was certainly a question.
I just came to that assumption
Yeah.
and didn't question it myself. So.
And lastly, and I think this kind of ties in with Henry's point earlier, I've met a couple of public speakers in my life, and one of the things that has been mentioned to me about Toastmasters is the constant fear that we should have about being over-rehearsed. And it sounds odd, it sounds ironic, but it comes to a point where, yes, we can plan out every particular movement, we can plan out every choice of word, every turn of phrase, but when you're on the stage, the people here can tell when all the little machines inside your head are turning and clicking and trying to take you on this wild ride, this amazing journey. And they can tell when you're here, where you're being honest, where you are trying to be having this genuine conversation without anything going on in the back of your head, without this grand agenda, a grand schedule that you want to bring forth. And that was something that was mentioned to me quite some time ago after he learned about my involvement in Toastmasters, and it's something that I strive to do about really preaching the genuine, sincere kind of communication. And I think at the back, I could kind of tell that the gears were turning in your head, that there were some choices of phrase, some things that the speech was being rehearsed in your head. And while that may be your style, I suspect that in the next level, it would be some way to mask that to the audience, to make them feel that this is a genuine conversation you're having with them on the spot about this beautiful moments in your lives. So that was probably as critical as I have ever been during the entire Toastmasters I've been here. I'm not usually this critical, but you have done an amazing job.
Thank you to everyone.
Thank
That's
you.
I have a little question. We probably don't have time.